Alexandra. Tell us a little bit about your book and how you came up with the idea for it, and why did you want to share, to kind of open up to the world your own experience?
Right. Thanks for asking. Actually, this is the book. If people are interested in it, it's called Just a Diplomatic Spouse. It's a book that basically about my life for the last more than 10 years. But a lot of people who read it already told me that they can totally relate to it, that some of the experiences that I wrote about happened to them too. And this is one of the ideas what I wanted to write it. I mean, I thought maybe it might be helpful for other people, maybe at the beginning of this road, because it can be quite lonely sometimes, and it helps to know that there are people who understand you, who've been through the same things, who live the same kind of life, and maybe can give you some tips about what should you do to make it easier.
I love the title, the sarcasm in the title. We all know it's not just a diplomatic spouse, right?
I'm sure you lived it at least once. It happened to me, and I mentioned also in the book, because it happened when I was in Vienna, and it was this. It's funny, but back then it wasn't that nice when it happened. I was at this gathering, and I was talking to somebody, and the minute that he realized that I was not the diplomat, so I was just the spouse, he just totally lost interest. So he was like, so your husband actually works at the embassy. Yeah, okay. So it's a title that a lot of people use to put us in a category without not really thinking too much about what's behind the title. So we all have different personalities, we had jobs before, we have different interests, and maybe people should look also into it, or maybe should be more appreciated.
Exactly. And that is actually part of the reason why I do want to share these stories of different women and men within the way of life that we have. And it's not only within the diplomatic world, right? Nowadays, there is many multinational companies that are doing the same thing. So people move every few years. We all have to start over. Most of us have gone through a career already, and we have to drop it and start over, hit refresh in our lives every few years.
Yes.
And that takes a lot out of you, right? It takes a lot of work. And this is why, like you said, your way of sharing your experience is a great way to show people that they're not alone, and that we all go through it. And the goal of these talks is to also share these experiences, so we know that we can identify with someone, we can get ideas about how to approach our own lives if we sometimes face a wall, which it happens to everyone, right?
Yeah. And actually, ever since I wrote it and I published the book, I got in contact with a lot more people that I would have expected maybe before, especially on Instagram, and a lot of people wrote to me, and most of them are also, are expats, and they live a life actually which is quite similar to ours. Of course, maybe one thing which is different is that they maybe at some point they get a choice to settle in one place. We don't have this option, so this is maybe the most difficult part, and I'm sure you also figured it out when you read the book. This is my most difficult part, the time when we have to leave and we have to prepare for another destination, but we have to leave behind everything that we've built up for the last, 4 or 5 years. So it's really sad to give up all these connections, all the things, maybe activities that we've done, and to just start fresh in another place. So that's a mutual feeling that also expats have, and I'm sure they can understand us and relate to us.
Yes, absolutely. And I do like that you show the nice side of life also, because we're not here to complain, right? It is a rewarding life. We learn a lot from it, and
Right.
we get to experience different cultures, but people have to understand also that it comes with its own challenges. And this is where we're happy to be able to create this community, right? With so we can share between each other and support each other.
Very beginning actually, because when we were in Vienna, after the kids went to kindergarten, so I had a little spare time, I started volunteering for United Nations, so I was quite involved with that. And when we moved to Berlin, I tried to do the same. So
Yes.
for the first 2 months, I sent, I think, hundreds of resumes, and I barely got any replies, so I was like really disappointed at the beginning. And I tried to get involved. This is my way of involving. I mean, this is what I want to do and I love to do. But I couldn't find for the first year, I couldn't really find an NGO, proper NGO that would want to have my contribution. And I think I have some experience in this field, especially because I studied management for social institutions. So you can see I'm quite related to the subject. So I have a lot of expertise with that, and also because I worked in Vienna for United Nations Women's Guild, is called the NGO that I worked there for. I had some experience, so I could offer that to some NGO here. And it took a while to get involved. I am now working with UNICEF for the last 3.5 years, I think, already. I coordinate the international group here. So I have this now, but it took me longer than I expected, and it's really, really important. And if it's not volunteering, I mean, not everybody wants to do it or it's fit for that. So you can do other things. I mean, you can go to yoga classes or to paint something or to learn something or a book club or whatever. But just make this deep connections, not like, okay, hello, how are you? How is the weather today? And then bye-bye, see you next time.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. I love that you said that, because I faced exactly the same thing when we first moved to Beijing. I also left a career because you know how it is. Within your career, you have a personality, you know who you are, you identify so much
and you
with
feel
it.
good about yourself.
And exactly, you feel that you're contributing, you are doing something for the world, right? Like you have a job. And then you move, and like you said, volunteering is a fantastic way to give back and to still feel that you're utilizing your strengths for something good, to contribute to something, right?
For me, it's really rewarding. I mean, I really like the feeling that I get out of it. So I can use my experience, but also I have the feeling that I help somebody, I give something back. So it's really important.
Exactly. I love what Stefania is saying, that expats need to reinvent themselves. You lose an identity and you gain another one. That is a great way to say it, because it's true. Like, we have even multiple identities within our normal lives, right? At work, in the family, as a friend, and then you move to a new place and you're no one. So volunteering, yes, it gives you one part of your identity back. You're working, you are contributing. And then, like you said, with the activities, you are at least trying to enrich yourself, to meet other people, to have a common conversation about something other than
also to have a continuity. So I think this is also important. It gives you a sense that, okay, I moved, I'm in a new place, I don't know anybody here, but at least I do part of what I used to do or what I know how to do. Or I think this is also very important. I mean, everywhere in the book, I have this chapter. It's small, but it's a list of guidelines. I entitled them Guidelines for People Moving traveling so often as we do. And one of the things that I wrote there is make the house that you live in your home. So I mean, we don't travel light. We have a lot of luggage every time we move because I insist to have a lot of things from home, lots of pictures, like paintings, curtains, racks, whatever. But things that once I put them into place, they give me the sense that this is my home. I mean, this is something familiar that I used to have also 2 years ago or 3 years ago, or so. It gives me the sense that, okay, it's something that I already know. And with this volunteering or whatever activity that you do, if you can continue it, it also helps you giving, it comforts you. It gives you this sense of, okay, I do something that I already know and I already liked and enjoy. So it doesn't matter if it's a new place. It helps. It really helps.
Yes.
Some friends here that we know, I mean, Sonia, who does wonderful cakes and started out of a hobby. And also I wrote this article, I interviewed Paloma, also a diplomatic spouse who started 20 years ago to paint just out of a hobby, and now it's a profession. So you never know what happens. I mean, out of a simple hobby, something that you enjoy to do in your spare time, you can build up a career, so you never know. So you just have to start with whatever makes you happy.
Yes, exactly. That is the one good side, right? One of the good sides of our lives, that you can take the time to find what you love, and to really work.
It's an advantage. Now we are about to move from Berlin, and this last few months in a place are really awful for me. I mean, very hard to handle. So if you have an activity that can put your mind out of it, and you can think of something else, it really helps. So it makes you feel more comfortable, maybe.
Yes, that is a great point as well. Exactly. It can serve at the very least as a distraction to everything else that is happening.
Yeah.
Yes.
And something that brings you joy, just your personal joy. So, okay, you have, of course, family is the most important thing, and the rewards that they can give you cannot be compared to anything else. But outside of it, I mean, everybody has to have something of their own.
Yes.
So, this is, and I would say, as much as it hurts when you leave a place, and when you also leave this part that you build behind, it's worth trying to do it once more. So if you move to another place, don't give up, start again. Look for something.